A dog barks at the bride on her wedding day, and then she discovers the heartbreaking reason Emma Parker stands before her bedroom mirror, sunlight streaming through lace curtains. Her ivory dress catches the morning light, making her look almost ethereal. But something isn't right. Luna, her German Shepherd, lies at her feet. Those usually bright amber eyes now watch Emma's every movement with an intensity that seems different when Emma takes a step toward her bouquet. Luna rises now with her usual grace, but with a slight tremor in her legs. "What's wrong, girl?" Emma knells, careful not to wrinkle her dress. Luna's behavior has shifted over the past few days, slower to greet her, sleeping more, eating less. But today, something in those eyes speaks of urgency. The historic stone church stands majestic against the autumn sky. Wedding guests file and their excited chatter filling the air. But at the entrance, a scene unfolds that no one expected. Luna plants herself first, firmly in front of Emma, refusing to let her enter, not with aggression, but with determination. Her body trembles, her breathing labored. She's trying to tell Emma something that will change everything about this perfect day. Emma doesn't know it yet, but in 3 hours, she'll have to make a choice that will challenge everything she believes about love, loyalty, and what really matters on a wedding day. And Luna's strange behavior, it's not just cold feet, it's a final act of a devotion that will break hearts and heal them in ways no one could have imagined. 4 years earlier, Emma's life changed forever when she visited a local animal shelter. There in the corner kennel sat a terrified German Shepherd puppy rescued from an illegal fighting ring. Luna, as she would be named, had deep scars on her face and trust issues that ran even deeper. The shelter warned Emma about Luna's traumatic past, but something in those amber eyes spoke to her soul. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Emma's father had passed away suddenly just months before leaving her, struggling with depression and a career that was falling apart. As Luna healed from her physical wounds, she helped Emma heal from her emotional ones. Every morning, Luna would gently nudge Emma awake, forcing her to face the day. When panic attacks struck, Luna's steady presence grounded her. But Luna's most remarkable act came on a crisp fall morning at Lake Hartford. Emma was taking her usual morning walk when Luna suddenly bolted toward the water. Through the fog, a man was struggling, having hit his head while swimming. Without hesitation, Luna dove, and using the water rescue training Emma had given her, Luna pulled the drowning man to shore. That man was Nathan Hayes, a marine biologist who had misjudged the lake's cold temperature. After he recovered, Nathan insisted on thanking Luna with a special dinner for both dog and owner. One dinner turned into weekly walks, which evolved into something deeper. Luna, once fearful of strangers, accepted Nathan instantly, as if she somehow knew he would become part of their story. Over the next 4 years, they built a life together. Nathan helped train Luna for water rescue missions. Emma supported Nathan's marine conservation work. And Luna, she watched over them both. Her past trauma transformed into a fierce protective instinct. Together, they healed each other's wounds, filled each other's empty spaces, and created a bond that went beyond typical pet and owner relationships. None of them could have guessed that their greatest test as a family was still to come. On what should have been the happiest day of their lives, the morning of September 15th dawned perfect, almost too perfect. While Emma's childhood home buzzed with wedding preparations, Luna's normally joyful morning greeting was replaced by an unusually quiet presence. "She's just overwhelmed with all the activity," Grace, Emma's mother, said dismissively, bustling around with flower arrangements. But Emma's brother, James, who had helped her train Luna for years, noticed something different. Her breathing seems off. "Em, are you sure she's okay?" The past week's memories flooded back. Luna skipping her evening walks, barely touching her favorite treats, and spending hours just watching Emma with those knowing eyes. Each night, instead of sleeping in her usual spot by the door, Luna had pressed closer to Emma's bed, as if afraid to let her out of sight. "Maybe we should postpone," James suggested, his protective instincts kicking in. The suggestion sparked an immediate reaction from Grace. "Postpone with 200 guests arriving, Emma. Don't let that dog disrupt everything we've planned." Emma stood frozen between her mother's practical concerns and her gut feeling that something was seriously wrong with Luna. The German Shepherd, who once bounded upstairs, now climbed them slowly, each step seeming to require extra effort. Grace pulled Emma toward the makeup chair, chattering about schedules and photographers, while James knelt beside Luna, his hand resting on her back. The contrast was stark. Upstairs, bridesmaids laughed, and popped champagne bottles downstairs. Luna's usual protective stance was replaced by something more urgent, more desperate. "She's trying to tell us something," James whispered, but his words were drowned out by the wedding planner's arrival. As Emma sat for her makeup, Luna dragged herself to lie at her feet, eyes never leaving her face. Each time Emma reached down to stroke her fur, she felt her heart tear a little more between the joy of her wedding day and the growing fear that something was terribly wrong with her beloved companion. The old Luna would have been investigating every flower arrangement, greeting every guest. With a wagging tail, this Luna seemed focused on one mission alone, staying as close to Emma as possible, as if every moment was precious. St. Mary's Cathedral loomed against the autumn sky as Emma's bridal car pulled up. Luna, who usually sat perfectly in the back seat, had spent the entire ride with her head in Emma's lap, her breathing becoming more labored with each passing minute. "We're already 20 minutes late," Grace Fred, checking her watch. But time seemed to stop when Luna suddenly struggled to. Her feet outside the church steps, her legs trembled visibly now, yet her stance was resolute. As Emma took her first step toward the church entrance, Luna barked, not her usual friendly bark, but a sound of desperation. Then, surprising everyone, she positioned herself directly in front of Emma, blocking her path to the church doors. "Luna, move, sweetheart," Emma pleaded, but the dog stood firm. James, who had been watching closely all morning, noticed the irregular rise and fall of Luna's chest when he touched her side. He felt her heart racing dangerously fast. "Something seriously wrong," James announced, his voice cutting through the murmuring crowd. "Her heart, it's beating way too fast." Emma dropped to her knees, wedding dress pooling around her, and Luna immediately pressed her body against Emma's, trembling violently through the gathering crowd. Emma's mind flashed back to all the times Luna had protected her through nightmares after her father's death, during panic attacks at work, and even the day she saved Nathan. Now Luna was trying to tell her something crucial, even if it meant stopping her own wedding. Nathan appeared at the church door, still in his tuxedo, concern etched across his face. He'd seen Luna save lives before. Now she was trying to save herself by the only means she knew, keeping Emma close. The same instinct that had led her to rescue Nathan from drowning was now compelling her to stop Emma from walking down the aisle. Grace pushed through the crowd, her voice tight with tension. "Emma, 200 people are waiting. The minister has another wedding in 2 hours. We can't just..." But she stopped short when she saw Luna's condition deteriorating before their eyes. "The wedding can wait," Nathan said firmly, already pulling out his phone to call their vet. "Luna's been there for all of us. Now it's our turn to be there for her." His voice carried the weight of understanding. This was the same dog that had given him a second chance at life. The wedding coordinator frantically waved papers and schedules, talking about deposits and timing and arrangements, but Emma could only focus on Luna's eyes, those faithful amber eyes that had watched over her for years, now clouded with pain, but still filled with desperate love. In that moment, seeing Luna's determined attempt to communicate through her suffering, Emma realized that some things matter more than perfect timing or carefully laid plans. Her faithful friend had given her everything. Now Luna needed her most. Right when she was about to walk down the aisle, the guests whispered, some in confusion, others in understanding. The church bells tolled in the background, marking the time of a ceremony that would have to wait, because sometimes love means choosing the unexpected path, even on your wedding day. And as Emma cradled Luna's head in her lap, she knew with absolute certainty that she was making the right choice, the only choice she could live with. Time blurred as Emma and Nathan raced to Mercy Animal Hospital. Luna cradled between them in the back seat of James's SUV. Her wedding dress filled the space like a deflated cloud, but Emma barely noticed the wrinkles and dirt now staining its pristine fabric. "Just stay with us, girl," Emma whispered, monitoring Luna's increasingly labored breathing. Nathan held Luna's head steady, his own hands trembling. "Remember when you pulled me from that lake? Now it's our turn to save you." Dr. Martinez was waiting at the emergency entrance, having been briefed by James's urgent call. Her eyes widened at the sight of the bride and groom in full wedding attire, but her focus immediately went to Luna's condition. Her heart's giving out, Dr. Martinez announced after the initial examination, her voice gentle but urgent. She's been hiding the symptoms, which is common in dogs. They're incredibly good at masking pain, until they simply can't anymore. She paused, looking directly at Emma. Today's excitement likely pushed her past her limit. Emma felt her world tilting, but she was fine last week. She was playing. She was the words caught in her throat as she remembered how Luna had stopped chasing her favorite ball, how she'd been sleeping more, eating less. The medications we need to start are expensive, Dr. Martinez continued. And even then, given her age and condition, she didn't need to finish the sentence. Emma understood what wasn't being said. Grace burst into the exam room, followed by James. I've handled the guess, she announced, then stopped short of the sight of Luna hooked up to monitors for the first time. That day her composure cracked. Oh, sweetheart, the wedding venue is still holding our deposit for another date, James added softly. Everyone understands. They're all asking about Luna. Nathan, who had been quietly studying the monitors, suddenly spoke up. You know what's amazing? He said, his voice thick with emotion. If Luna hadn't stopped us at the church, if she hadn't forced us to notice, we might have lost her during the ceremony. She wasn't just asking for help. She was choosing the perfect moment, making sure we could actually do something. Emma looked at her wedding ring, fingers still bare, then at Luna's tired eyes. Years ago, she'd made a promise to a traumatized puppy that she would always be there, would never abandon her. Luna had kept her promises, to protect, to love, to save. What mattered most now? It was Emma's turn. Start the treatment, Emma said firmly. Whatever she needs. Some people might not understand choosing a dog over a wedding day, but those people never knew Luna. Dr. Martinez nodded, relief visible on her face. We'll do everything we can. And Emma, I think you're about to find out just how many people do understand. As if to confirm this, Emma's phone buzzed with messages from wedding guests, not with complaints, but with prayers for Luna, offers of help, and stories of how the German Shepherd had touched their lives too. Because some choices aren't really choices at all, there's simply love. Showing us the way. You're getting married in a veterinary hospital, Dr. Martinez asked, eyebrows raised as she checked Luna's vitals. The medication had stabilized her heart rate, but everyone knew this was borrowed time. The hospital's small chapel, usually reserved for grieving pet owners, was transforming. Hospital staff had cleared space, brought chairs from the waiting room, and someone had found a vase of fresh lies, Emma's favorite flowers. It's strange, Emma said, still in her wrinkled wedding dress, watching Luna's chest rise and fall. I spent months planning the perfect wedding, but this feels more right than anything we arranged. Pastor Roberts arrived, still wearing the formal robes from the church. Love shows up in unexpected places, he said, setting up his Bible on a makeshift altar. And sometimes it wears for the ceremony wasn't what anyone had imagined. Instead of walking down a grand aisle, Emma made her way past 4 stands rather than sitting in reserved pews. Family members stood close together in the small space. Luna lay on her bed beside them, connected to monitors, but her eyes never left Emma and Nathan. As they exchanged vows, Emma added a line that wasn't in the original script. I promise to love with the same unconditional devotion that Luna taught us. Nathan's voice cracked as he repeated the words. Dr. Martinez quietly adjusted Luna's medication, trying to stay invisible during the ceremony. But even she wiped away tears when Emma knelt beside Luna after saying, I do. You made this happen, sweet girl, Emma whispered to Luna. You showed us what matters most. Luna's tail thumped weakly against the bed, a sound more precious than any wedding bells. James, who had run home between emergency and ceremony, returned with something special. Luna's favorite bow tie collar, the one they'd bought for the wedding. With gentle hands, he slipped it around her neck, the perfect wedding. Grace admitted her earlier frustration. Completely gone is the one that shows us who we really are. She looked at her daughter now, officially Mrs. Hayes, sitting on the floor in her wedding dress beside Luna. And this is who you've always been, Emma. This is why we love you. As hospital staff peeked into witness this unusual ceremony, as family members huddled close in the small chapel, as Luna drifted to sleep with a peaceful expression, everyone understood sometimes the most beautiful moments come when all our careful plans fall apart. And love shows us a better way. The weeks following the wedding were precious, yet painful. Luna's condition stabilized briefly, giving Emma and Nathan borrowed time to cherish every moment. Each day became a gift. marked not by grand gestures, but by quiet moments of pure love. Remember her at the lake, Nathan would say. As they sat with Luna in their backyard watching the sunset, Luna's tail would wag at the memory. Even though her body was growing weaker, she still tried to play fetch, though now it was more about the effort than the actual game. The story of their hospital wedding spread through the community. Soon letters started arriving from other pet owners, from shelter volunteers, from people touched by Luna's devotion. One morning, Emma opened an envelope containing a check from an anonymous donor marked for other dogs like Luna. That's when the idea struck Emma, still working through her grief, realized Luna's legacy could be more than memories. During one of their long nights at the vet hospital, she'd noticed how many families struggled to afford emergency care for their aging pets. What if we started a foundation? She proposed to Nathan one evening as Luna dozed between them, for senior dogs needing critical care. We could call it Luna's Legacy. The initiative took off faster than anyone expected. Local vets offered discounted services. James, with his business experience, helped structure the foundation. Even Grace, who once dismissed Luna as just a dog, became its most passionate fundraiser. Luna held on long enough to see the first family receive help, an elderly couple who couldn't afford their shepherd's heart medication. As Emma shared their story, Luna lifted her head one last time, those wise amber eyes saying, "What words couldn't this is why I chose you." When Luna finally slipped away, it wasn't in a cold clinic, but at home, surrounded by the family she created. Her head rested in Emma's lap, Nathan's hand steady on her back. As she took her final breath, she left not just as a pet, but as the heart of a movement that would help countless other faithful companions. 1 year after their unconventional wedding, Emma and Nathan stood before Luna's Legacy Veterinary Clinic, a modern facility dedicated to affordable care for senior dogs. The clinic's logo, a German Shepherd silhouette, watched over the entrance, just as Luna had once watched over them. Inside, photos lined the walls. Luna at the lake, Luna on their wedding day, Luna with her bow tie. But the most powerful images were the new ones, dozens of senior dogs who'd received life-saving treatment thanks to the foundation. "She'd be proud," Nathan whispered, squeezing Emma's hand as they watched an elderly golden retriever leave with his relieved owners, their medical bill covered by Luna's Legacy. The dog's tail wagged, a gesture so reminiscent of Luna that Emma's eyes welded up. Today they'd helped their 800th family. Each case reminded them of their wedding day, when a dog's love proved stronger than any planned ceremony. Luna had taught them that sometimes the most beautiful moments come from following your heart, even when it leads you down an unexpected path. If this story touched your heart, remember there are countless senior dogs out there still waiting for their chance at love and care. Like Luna showed us, every dog deserves a champion, no matter their age. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to hear more stories that remind us of the incredible bonds between humans and their faith companions. Together, we can help write more happy endings for senior dogs everywhere. After all, as Luna proved, true love knows no boundaries, not even time.